Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Uh, Thank you for joining in for another episode, and I really appreciate it. Um, it means a lot for y'all to take time out of your busy day to watch one of my videos. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm getting off of work, and it's May 1st, 2 o'clock in the morning, May 1st, so need to get my May video put out, my top baits for May, what I'll be throwing in May. The first part of May, you still probably have some bass spawning in certain parts of the country. You got post spawn down south, Texas, Florida, all that, got post spawn. Have some post spawn here in the Ozarks. Northern states, you're getting into the spawn. Probably still some pre-spawn. But all these baits that I'm getting ready to go over will work pre-spawn, spawn, post-spawn. Just depends where you're at. I got some categories of baits. What I'm going to go over today is some bait categories. First category, topwater. Buzz bait, True Faith custom bait buzz bait, killer bait, catch bass, pre-spawn, during the spawn, and post-spawn. I love throwing a buzz bait. It'll catch some of the biggest bass in your lake during this time, during the spawn time. Doesn't matter if it's pre-spawn, post-spawn, or during the spawn. It'll catch some of the biggest bass in the lake. I like throwing the buzz bait with a bigger blade on it. That way you can reel it slower, and just reel it slow enough to make it pop on the top, and that'll bring those fish up and hit it. You can also reel it faster, and if you need more of a reaction bite. I like throwing it over the beds. I like throwing it around laydowns, stumps, heavy cover, boat docks, points. I just like throwing it around bluegill beds. You throw it enough over their bed to make them mad, they'll come up and hit it. But if they're on the bed, I prefer a popper style bait. A popping style bait, you can get this thing to walk right over top of the bed and just let it set. It's kind of a bluegill color, and they hate the bluegill while they're on the bed, because the bluegill comes after their eggs and their fry. And these are actually like a rubber frog. They got the rubber frog style hooks on them, and you can throw these actually in heavy cover. You throw it in the brush, and they will come up and mash it. They're not used to seeing poppers in the brush. Another topwater I like to throw during this time is a walking style bait. And again, this is a rubber walking style bait, and you can put it right in the middle of a lay down and work it out, and those bass will come out there and annihilate this thing. Anyway, that kind of covers the topwater style baits. And of course, you can use the normal walking style baits as well, if I can get it unhung. This is a great clear water bait. Translucent, you can see through it. This is a tremendous clear water bait. Unlike, this is a vixen. Catch a lot of fish on these. And then like the other day, that video I did the other day is prop style baits. Prop style baits during this time is amazing baits to throw. Like the Devil's Horse, and Rapala makes one, and there's the Devil's Horse. Berkeley makes one that's like a Devil's Horse. Any of those prop style baits that looks like it's kind of like a Devil's Horse. This is the Rapala one. It's got a prop on each end and it spits. I have a lot of success with these type baits during the post spawn whenever there's fry. It looks like something trying to chase fry, I think, and these little small blades. These little blades, about the size of a fry, and I believe it looks like something chasing the fry, and they'll come up there and hit it. Another good bait this time of year is glide bait. Glide it around the beds, the bluegill beds, the bass beds. Any of these glide baits works well. That kind of takes care of some of the top waters, but the main baits that I'll be throwing in the top water category is the popper and the Devil's Horse style. But any of the top waters will work this time of year. Another spawn that's going on in May is the bluegill spawn and the shad spawn. And a spinnerbait, a True Faith custom bait spinnerbait, you can't beat it during the shad spawn. I love throwing a spinnerbait during the shad spawn. Any shad color. Now if the water's dingy or muddy, go with the chartreuses, and I like to throw one that's got a kicker blade on it, a red or orange kicker blade, and that makes a big difference. That red or orange kicker blade when the water's stained or muddy. Another bait that I love throwing during the shad spawn and bluegill spawn, let me find it, is the swim jig, the True Faith custom bait swim jig. Any of the shad colors works well during the shad spawn. Anything that'll mimic a shad. I usually use 3/8 is what I normally use. So any of these colors during the shad spawn, you'll find the shad spawn around boat docks, around riprap, around logs and stumps. And I'll be watching for the birds. You watch for birds, and the birds will be after the shad as well. Watch for schooling fish coming up there, feeding on those shad that's spawning. Just watch for the shad spawn. Watch for the bluegill. The bluegills like to spawn in kind of colonies. It'll look like a honeycomb on the bottom of the lake. There'll just be holes, little small holes everywhere. It looks like a big honeycomb, and that's where the bluegill are spawning. And you can throw those topwaters. You can throw these swim jigs or around those areas. You can also throw just real small, shallow running crankbaits through there, and the bass will come and hit those as well. Now later on in May, the fish is going to start moving out, but they're still going to be feeding up. But when they start moving out, you can get the deeper diving crankbaits out, DT20s, DT16s, those bigger, deeper diving crankbaits will work well. Rock crawlers, those will all work really well toward the end of May. Another bait that I like fishing all through May is a wobblehead, True Faith custom bait wobblehead, and a fighting frog. I've showed you how to rig a fighting frog before, but I'll show you again real quick. Just regular Texas rig. And there's your fighting frog. You can put that anywhere, in the brush, in the rocks, anywhere that you want to fish it, on points, gravel banks, just anywhere you want to fish it. That's where you want to throw the wobblehead and fighting frog. You just throw it out there, slowly reel it in, just like a crankbait, slow, steady retrieve, and those fish will annihilate that wobblehead with a fighting frog on it. And another bottom bouncing bait that I will use in the month of May is the tube. I love throwing tubes. Not many people throws them anymore, but a good old tube. This is a flipping tube, actually. I'll still be flipping this big old tube around shallow brush, in and around beds, in and around bluegill beds. Tube works really great. And here's the little finesse tube. It's 2.5 inches, little finesse tube, works great. And then the regular size 3.5 inch big bite baits tour tube. I love throwing a tube. Now, like I said, not many people throws them anymore, but a tube is a go-to bait of mine. And those are the baits that I highly suggest you throwing in the month of May. May is a time of change. They'll be moving from the real shallow water. They'll be starting to move out into the deeper water toward their summer haunts. And those there are my main baits that I will be throwing during the month of May. It covers from the top all the way to the bottom. Just watch for the shad spawn. Well, watch for bass spawning, and then watch for the shad spawn, watch for bluegill spawn, crappie spawning, and just follow that around the lake. It'll happen at different times. You can go down in the river. The water warms up quicker in the river. Go down there, find all that, and just move up the lake. It may take 3 or 4 weeks, but you can follow it from the river all the way up to the dam section. If the water's dingy, they'll warm up quicker. And that bluegill pattern is an awesome pattern to be throwing in dingy water for this time of year, because we're getting a lot of rain. Another thing that's good to throw after the spawn, during the post spawn, is I like throwing Carolina rig. Throw that Carolina rig on points, around drop-offs, around shallow, not real shallow, but 5 to 10 foot brush piles, lay downs. Work that Carolina rig around those. If you have a weed line, work your Carolina rig along the outside of that weed line, and you can catch some big bass doing that. You can kind of catch them doing about anything you want to. But my top baits for May will be a popper style bait, or a devil's horse style topwater, and then the swim jig, and the wobble head, and oh yeah, I don't want to forget True Faith Custom Baits football jig. It's time to throw that football jig. Kind of during April I use plastics mainly, but in May I start throwing the jig again pretty heavy, around boat docks and brush piles and some rock piles. But mainly I hit a lot of brush during the post spawn, because it seems like they like that brush for an ambush point off a well. But my main things is going to be, like I said, the popper or the prop style baits, wobble head / jig, crankbait when they get out deeper, the swim jig and spinner bait. I have one or the other or both tied on, see which one they want to hit during the shad spawn or around bluegill spawning. I'll throw the spinner bait or swim jig around the bluegill spawn. And then the tube. I really like pitching that big tube around brush piles and lay downs, or fishing that smaller tubes around points and drop-offs when they're making their way back out toward deeper water. I'll hit those points and work that tube back. Anyway, I'm going to go to the house and go to get some sleep. Sorry if I've been too repetitive or anything in this video. I'm really tired. But I wanted to get this video in. Sorry it's almost 20 minutes long. Anyway, if you like the content, please hit like, subscribe, and share. And have a blessed week, and I will see you guys out on the water.